Well, let's wrap this week up. Friday, the 9th of May. Cheers. Really just saying hello this morning. Family is on my mind. There's a big transition happening out in California. Hoping things go smoothly this weekend for Kareen, Quasi, and my sister Stephanie. Change. So, not much on my plate today. I mean, really, what I'm thinking I want to venture into is trying to share a few thoughts about some of the comments because so yes, East Europe is full of hidden musical gems. Um, Yo Grupa from Yugoslavia, I'll check them out. And I have some music by Yugoslavia, but I can't pronounce the name and I can't think of it even alphabetically to grab it. Someone sent it to me, a band from Yugoslavia, so I have at least one, probably more. Yes, I'm interested in the music of the world. And I used to have White House albums. I had a collection and got to a point where it's like, this is very dark and I'm not in this place very often. It's very cool to hear from other folks who have kept relics from their past. And yeah, my sister Stephanie, hearing from you, Stephanie, yeah, you ought to remember those jeans. I wore them constantly. I remember when Mom tried to throw them away, and I dug them out of the garbage, and they were like, there was food and some other nasty stuff on them. I wasn't letting them go. I wasn't letting them go. Yeah, you can see me wearing that leather jacket in the Digital Sex video. And, someone brought up their Christianity and asked about rock musicians and the occult, and it's like, that's old news. And I'm not interested in that. I'll go ahead and make a statement here. It's just my opinion. Mankind puts way too much importance on belief because belief is not fact. And people will say, well, I believe based on this information or this evidence, but it's still a belief. And we can believe anything. And the thing that I see historically is that belief systems have been compromised and changed and altered by people who have the wherewithal to do so. So beliefs are not are given way too much importance. I'm interested in science and information and as much factual information as possible. Seems like science keeps finding out more and more information that leans towards the idea of multidimensional existence. And so it's like our entire universe dimensionally could be fitting on the head of this toothpick in another dimension. And so the idea of trying to think that we're important enough that there's a being somewhere out in the that's watching, it's ridiculous. To me, it makes more sense the possibility that this is a simulation and that the person that people want to call God is the programmer. And we're dimensionally minute in someone else's huge But see, I don't know. And so I don't fret about that. And I don't fret about what other people believe. It's what they think. It's in their heads. It's not hard reality. So I don't care. I've been through religion. People who follow me know that I grew up and they thought I was be a minister. I would help my grandpa write sermons when I was a boy. And when I went to the all boys Catholic school, I went through a transformation there and became Catholic and went as an acolyte to monastery for a short time in Minnesota. It was a very negative experience. I am not interested in religion. And the idea that there's a supreme being, I don't know why that's so important to people to think that. I don't anymore. And the idea that there is a being watching over us, that don't even make sense with what we're doing to ourselves. Why would somebody watch that? Especially if you are in a position that, oh, I can watch it, I could impact it. It don't make no sense. So see, I'm not religious. And being spiritual has nothing to do with believing in a higher power. It's just having reverence, love, and respect for life. And that's what I have. So that's my spirituality. I have been hurt more than helped by things in the church. How's that? So there's some records sitting out, but not much. Did I play anything yesterday? Because yes, I did. Okay. So I'll just, again, total transparency. I'll show you what I'm playing. You know, I don't. Yeah, it's just me here. I'm not trying to put on for anybody. Okay. I could try to put on a false show like a lot of people do. It ain't worth it. It's just, what's the false? I don't need that false shit. So here's a record from the past. Jim and Dale, 86% of us. On United Artists. This is pop, but there is a slightly psychedelic aspect to these arrangements. I like this album. There's the songwriting and the arrangements are, my reference to tell you is early Gordon Lightfoot. And I love Gordon Lightfoot. Love him. So both sides of this, side one starts with an overture, instrumental overture, orchestra. It's good. It's good. Either one of these guys or both of these guys play guitar really well, because there's classical guitar figures in the arrangements of the music. So these are pop songs talking about love and other things. Their voices aren't that distinct, but this is good. And do I recommend this if you run across this? I do, actually. This is good. I always like this old version of the United Artists label, and they've had several configurations of the label. So this was enjoyable, very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. Wrapped up watching the hardcore punk documentary, as well as Peeping Salad Days, which is related, about the DC hardcore scene. I'm really glad that I'm part of that history and that I was there. That's what I got to say about all that stuff. The other record that got played, I'll show two that are out for play. Might get to them today, might not.
Here is an electronic album on Force Incorporated that I bought because I like that image, but I didn't know the artist. Tomas Jirku, Sequins. Is that it? Yeah, Sequins. Light on Water is such a, you know how, well, not, maybe you don't, I say that a lot, you know, and whatever, that bullshit. But I, for one, have always been fascinated and still am fascinated at the effect of waves of water, watching it, being near large bodies of water, watching reflections on the waves, especially sunlight, like that image there. So this is, I guess this is techno. I'm now to the point where, like, those words are almost lost. It's like, I don't know. It's electronic. It's rather static in that it's everything is pattern based, but these things are these kind of glitchy, weird patterns that keep repeating and then just slowly undulate and change. And then there's these kind of like interludes, short interludes on here that are like Soundworks. And this is pretty cool. It's not real active, but I'm glad I kept it. And it's pretty cool. Okay, and that is not like Aphex Twin, but was more listenable than a lot of Aphex Twin for me. And I do like Aphex Twin, but I find myself not wanting to listen to him. I was over in the O's putting stuff away, and these two records popped out. I said, well, let me just take some out because my shit is jammed. So I put the Pauline Oliveros away, and these are out for play. I had more of this band in Sold, and we'll see if this one survives. Oh, that's part of the package. Let me put it back in there. The OCs. I first heard of the main guy from the OCs when he had a band called Coach Whips. I've never found that record, but Coach Whips really caught my imagination. Really like it. Kind of frenzied. This is in the same vein, but not as wild. And the OCs, they've changed. It's the OCs, but they write it different ways. Putrefier's 2 EP. I have to play this because I don't remember it. Some things make a stronger impression than others. I like this package, die cut, where you pull that out. So I have to play this because I don't remember what this one like. It's the black vinyl. I'm thinking it's a keeper though. Never seen the OCs, but I can tell by the videos because I've watched a lot of video of them that they put on a great show, great energy. And then one more that's out for play. He came up in my mind because I was watching Tunde Adepempe. He has a new solo album. I'm not going to buy it, but I like TV on the radio, and I like seeing him being a major pop figure with his big black behind. But his first name is Babatunde. He just goes by Tunde, but it's the same as the first name of Olatunji, the African percussionist, Babatunde Olatunji. One of those people who, back in the 60s, was trying to open doors. True musical ambassador. I've got a couple of his albums. And this is on the infamous mob-owned Roulette Records.
kind of told you a whole lot about who they were just with the title of the label, Roulette. So this is out for play. I love percussion. Yeah, this is out for play. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So other than that, folks, I want to thank you again. I have to go to the post office again. That makes me happy. I'm getting a sale or two every day. So I looked at my stash. Sonicity has sold out. Again, I had 3 copies that I dug out for my personal pile, and they sold out. I'm looking at them, and it, you know, I could probably let go of a couple more. I want to keep at least 2 for myself. So I'm probably going to go ahead and let these go. And so if you look on Bandcamp right now, it's sold out. But later today, there will be 2 more copies. And you know what? I think people are starting to wake up to this music in me. This is my music, and my artistry is as important as anyone in your collection. You ought to have it. I just sold another one of these. Aspects of the Imagined. So I'm getting down. I'm getting down as far as numbers on this one. Very proud of all this. I'm going to wait a while. I've got a whole nother album in the works. But I'm going to wait a while to manufacture it. I went hog wild with these and produced 5 CDs within a matter of months. 2 of them have basically sold out, but I have plenty of these others. So I'd like to make I'll speak from my personal view. I'd like to make a dent in my numbers, and then you folks ought to have this art and music in your collection along with your whatever else it is you're buying. You ought to have me. So buy a copy today. I've been signing. People are still asking me to sign, so I'm sort of assuming most people want them signed. So at this point, each sale, I'm signing. I have yet to have someone say, "Don't sign it." Well, actually, that's happened. Yes, I had someone sign one for me and leave one blank. So that's okay. It's good stuff. It is. The other thing that I can say that has my interest, and I'm sure that everyone's news feed on the internet is tailored to the algorithms that show what you're interested in. But it's still interesting that there's all this talk about a breakthrough at CERN, and that the deep field photographs that James Webb have supplied are showing stuff that completely upends our classical notion of the universe and reality, which I find very interesting, and feeds into the idea that we might be a simulation, or the reality that we are in. So that's another thing. I like philosophy and I like heavy thinkers. There's this guy who's talking about, and it makes complete sense to me, that we classically have thought of ourselves as the observer of reality, separate from it, which is just, to me, that don't make sense. Even as a kid, that didn't make sense to me. We're in reality. How can we minuscule little human beings be so self-centered as to think that we are separate from this We're it. We're part of it. Literally. I can't go all the way into it, but I find this stuff fascinating. And the more that I learn, and it just doesn't make sense to be religious. I'm curious about what really is. We don't know. So people who that's what frustrates me about religious people, is that they talk like they know. Y'all don't know. Bothering people with what you believe, it's what's in your head. And please note this: what you believe dies when you die. The only reason why these beliefs go on is because we spread it like a virus through our communication. But that don't mean it's real. So I'm interested in as much factual information as is available. And the facts don't lead me to belief, it leads me to further observation. Have a good weekend.